Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Onvisor podcast. My guest this week is my good friend, Matt Bourque. Matt is a driven dad, which he makes obvious in his new podcast and his new program to help dads take control of their health and live a healthier, better overall life in a hectic world. Matt has a very diverse background. He started in business quite young, opening a CrossFit gym, growing that gym, and he has launched several entrepreneurial endeavors since then. So if you're interested in how, parenthood, business, how to balance all of this, this is a very good conversation with a lot of good takeaways. So I hope you guys enjoy watching this as much as I enjoyed having this conversation with Matt Bourque. All right, well, welcome, Matt. Welcome to the studio. How are you doing today?
Well, thanks for having me. I'm doing pretty awesome. How about yourself?
Doing awesome. So for those of you who don't know, me and Matt have been good friends for a pretty long time, dating back to our CrossFit days. Are you still doing some CrossFit, Matt?
Yeah, still at it. You got quite a few other things in the mix nowadays, but I've never given up fully on the CrossFit methodology, and I still have to throw it in the mix on a weekly basis.
It has a lot to offer for sure. So let's jump right into it, Matt. Tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, a little bit about your background, and how you got to where you're at today and what you're working on.
Yeah, for sure. Born and raised in Dieppe right here.
Yes.
My professional background, studied in unrelated things that I ended up doing later on in my life. And I kind of like to say that my professional career started off in 2013 when I founded my first business. So after falling in love with CrossFit, like you said, turned my passion into a business, co-founded CrossFit YQM in 2013, grew that gym, that business into we eventually built out a 6,000 square foot facility.
Yes.
Brand new building, built the business up to 250 members, added nutrition, personal training, and actually had the opportunity to have Dan Martel come in as a partner. So
that's right. Forgot about that.
Yeah, lots of cool, exciting things that came from that business venture. Then 2020 hit, so COVID times, COVID days.
Right.
That kind of spiraled me into a downward spiral as far as the business goes.
Sure.
We were, burning through a lot of cash, and personally, mentally, it got me into one of my darkest kind of places that I've been in,
Right.
which led me to eventually sell the business. So fortunately, I did find a buyer for my business. And successfully exited from that business in late 2020.
Okay.
From there, kind of kept the personal passion alive of living a healthy and active lifestyle.
Absolutely.
And it's probably one of the things it's definitely one of the things that helped me come out of that dark time in my life, and helped me rebuild my next business and helped me get back to my normal self again.
Right.
After a year of soul searching and figuring out what I wanted to do.
After the sale, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So about a year after, I launched my small marketing agency, which I've been active in for the past 4 years. So specializing in content creation and social media management.
Yep.
And most recently launched my own podcast called Driven Dad in this past year. Yep. Which led to me launching a program for dads specifically. So I help dads, mostly with their health and fitness. And I use that as the foundation to build the rest of their life. So I have a strong belief that if you build the foundation of a healthy, happy self, then the rest kind of, comes from there. Family, business, everything else thrives once you get your own health and fitness under control.
Yeah. Kind of using it as that foundation to propel everything else around you, right? Because definitely a lot, your mindset, your attitude, your mood, a lot of it stems from what you're doing consistently every day. And I think health and fitness is a big piece of that for sure.
Yeah, 100%. I see it as like a pyramid, and the base layer, the foundation of the pyramid is your own health and fitness first, and then the rest of the stuff that's above there. So family would be like the next one, but family doesn't matter, or family doesn't mean a thing if you don't have your own health and wellness.
Of course.
And above family, there's friends. Friends don't mean a thing if you don't have your own health and wellness.
Right.
Vacations, personal net worth,
Yeah.
all that stuff. It's on the top tiers of the pyramid, not the foundational tier of the pyramid.
Yeah, I love the analogy of a pyramid. I use it, with cash flow being my foundation, and then all the other kind of levels stack on top of it. So definitely love the notion of using a pyramid for how to structure things and how to use a baseline. And I love to say to all my clients, a pyramid doesn't stand on its. If you flip it upside down, it doesn't stand.
Yeah,
100%.
I mean?
Yeah, it falls.
I agree.
All right. Well, so Matt, what keeps you motivated day in, day out, and to show up and to try new things? Because, definitely from the outside looking in, and I guess point blank, you've tried many different things. You've taken that leap over time. So what keeps you motivated? What keeps you coming back and pushing?
Yeah, I definitely have tried a lot of things professionally, personally.
Yeah, a lot of, personally even, yeah.
Yeah, I think on that subject, I think my main pursuit is living a happy life.
Okay.
And not being scared to make changes. And a lot of people tend to just keep rolling with what they're doing, and they just accept their unhappiness or an unfulfilled life instead of taking the leap, whether it's, professionally, personally, on whatever level, and essentially not giving a shit what other people think about your move, right?
Yeah.
So, what you need to do is focus on your own happiness. If you think that making a move, whether it's like in your career or something like that, you can't think about like, what are my friends going to say about,
what's
my career change?
What's my bank going to think?
Yeah, whatever the case may be, you need to think about, I hate this thing. Like when I had my gym, it's brought me a lot of opportunities, a lot of good times, a lot of great experiences. But at the end, I was looking out for myself, and I knew that I needed to make a change into something else. Didn't know what at the time, but I didn't really care, what it meant for the people around me or what the people around me would think. I knew for my own personal happiness and well-being, I needed to make a change.
Right.
As far as what keeps me motivated on a daily basis, I mean, motivation fades definitely. So definitely. There's days that I'm more motivated than others. Sure. I think what I like to rely on is the habits that I've built over the years. I think I have a couple of decades of habits that I've slowly built, including everything around health and fitness, and also, prioritizing the important things in life. So
right.
I know that since I've had kids, my priority is my family, my kids. I think that's my why. It's my biggest why for everything is showing up for my kids.
Yeah.
So whether it's my own health or my finances, I don't really care what the number is in my bank account, but what drives me to create more revenue or to make more money is offering all the experiences that I want to offer to my kids and my family, and like living that with them.
Yeah.
So my motivation for making money is creating, some cool opportunities to travel and to experience things with them.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
money is essentially just becomes the vehicle to the things that I really want to do.
Yeah, it's a tool.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool in your toolbox, really.
Mm-hmm.
There's energy, there's time, there's money. Like they're all tools in your toolbox to essentially build the life you want, right? I do want to go back to where you felt you needed to make a change. So right before kind of having that clarity that you needed to make a drastic change, potentially sell your business. Is there anything, can you talk a little bit about what really did it in for you? Because I think there's a lot of people who are kind of know something's off. They know they're unhappy maybe. They don't really know what's wrong or what they want to do next. But can you talk a little bit about what did it for you and how you knew that a change of that magnitude was kind of where you needed to go?
Well, prior to COVID, I was already starting to think about an exit.
Okay.
I think for me, I'm a builder. I get really motivated by the things I have not achieved yet, but I can kind of see that I want to reach for. So when I was building my gym, like going into a state-of-the-art new facility was really exciting.
Yeah.
Then adding personal training was really exciting. Then adding nutrition was really exciting. Then building the biggest competition on the East Coast was really exciting.
Sure.
And then at one point, I think I didn't necessarily reach the top of, all potential as far as a gym goes, but I think I had accomplished kind of everything that I wanted to accomplish, and it got stagnant for me. And I wasn't willing to invest myself into the next step after that. So that could have been like duplicating my gym, like opening a second location. I just wasn't into that. I didn't want to invest my time and effort into that. So for me, I feel like I found that finish line where the market was getting a little saturated in the gym world around here. So there was a couple of challenges that arose from that. But mainly, like I said, it was like I had accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish with this business, with this venture. So the excitement was kind of gone a little bit. So I'd begun to think about exiting within the next 3 years type of thing.
Right. Okay.
And then I had my twins in 2019, late 2019. So things started, maybe like my mindset started to shift a little bit on priorities and stuff.
Yeah.
And then 6 months later, COVID hit.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
It kind of fast tracked everything for me. Whereas when COVID hit, there's that like initial couple months of like, all right, I'm going to freaking figure this shit out.
Yeah.
I'm going to crush it.
Yeah.
And then at one point, everything was going like as good as it could get COVID wise. And then at one point I realized, well, you know what? Everything I just built in the last 8 years is slowly fading away, like day by day. The community is getting disconnected.
Yeah.
And I wasn't in the business of fitness. I was in the business of community.
Yes.
And community, like basically human connection, was gone for like the first year to 2 years of COVID, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the biggest thing that we lost. So it was basically I owned a different business.
Yeah.
And once, I knew that there was going to be a day where things got back to normal. But what I didn't have is the energy to put back into rebuilding what I just built for 8 years. Yeah. I just couldn't do that again.
Yeah. It was a different proposition at that point.
That was just the moment where I was like, you know what? I can't do this again. Like I don't have the energy to rebuild. What's best for me and my family right now is to secure some money, like get some money out of my business investment, my business venture, and whatever I can come out with, I'm happy with, because I'm mainly looking out for my mental health right now, and that means I need to, make a change, exit from that, and keep my keep it like play it safe, right?
Yeah. Do the right thing in a way. Yeah. So it does sound like, having the kids thrown in the mix for round 2 of rebuilding your business could have been a pretty significant factor in your decision.
Mm-hmm.
Could have, looking back.
Yeah. Like at that time, there was no options for me. It was like I knew a million% sure I was selling the gym.
Yeah,
so I was very aggressive. I constructed a proposition for potential buyers, and I set up multiple meetings with people that I thought may be interested.
Right.
So I probably set up like 5-6 different meetings, met up with those people, and proposed like, here's what you get for that amount of money. This is a no-brainer for you.
You had a package.
I'm giving you a super good deal here.
Mm-hmm.
Turnkey. Next day you can step into my gym and you have a running business. You can take over my members. You're paying about half of what it's worth.
Yeah.
And I'm happy because I'm done, and you're happy because you just got a sweet deal and a turnkey solution, right?
Yeah.
And it like good for me. It ended up working with one of the potential buyers. I ended up doing the deal with that person.
Yeah.
And everyone was happy because he got a great deal and I got what I wanted also.
Yeah, and I think honestly, the CrossFit community won as well, because we talked about a little bit about how maybe the sport or the activity had peaked a little bit, and I think there was a blend of consolidation in what kind of transpired, and I think the community won because it brought 2 smaller communities together and built one more robust community.
Yeah, definitely.
As a result, so I think everybody won.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So we talked about taking the leap. I know you dove into what taking the leap means for you, and how you come to the decision that a leap needs to be made. But how do you handle actually taking the leap? Do you have a process where you calculate things? Are you a guy who takes calculated leaps, or are you throw caution to the wind? I have a vision, because I can definitely see a lot of myself when I heard you talk about, like, I kind of see where I want to go. I can have that vision of what I think I can accomplish, and I get motivated by doing whatever, one step in front of the other, until I get there. And that for me is how I usually know that the leap, like how to take the leap, is like I can kind of see it. I'm wondering if what's your process? If you're a very calculated person, if you think of the risks, do you go see mentors? Like, do you have a process when it comes to taking these leaps?
I don't think I don't actually have a process like on paper,
of course,
but I think I deal with it pretty similarly when I'm faced with those situations. There's 2 sides to it. First, you'll never be like ready to take the leap. Like if anyone, like if anyone's thinking like, you know what, I'm going to open a business, like when things line up, like things won't line up.
Yeah.
You have to line things up. So there's never a scenario where it's like the door opens and it's a friggin', perfect shiny object and I'm going for it. That's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And the other side, like I'm pretty calculated as far as like I kind of like to calculate the worst case scenario, which sounds like not so attractive or not so dreamy. But what I like to do is calculate things backwards. So if I make this leap, what am I going to be left with like on day one?
Yeah.
So it could be if I, leave this business and open this other business here, what clients do I have on day one? Am I making like, $5,000 revenue per month day one? You know what? I'm happy with that. I can start with that.
Yeah.
That's a good starting point, right? So I like to calculate the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Or like, if I sell this business, I will, I know what my assets are worth. I know I'll end up with this number in my bank account. Am I happy with that number? yes or no, right?
Right.
So that's like a tangible calculation that you can kind of go off of, is, you know, calculating what you'll end up with if you sell that business, or what you have in your bank account on day one of starting this business, because you already have 1 or 2 or 3 clients lined up.
Yeah.
And the worst case scenario is I'm able to feed my family.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that, even if I'm not making millions and, you know, driving a Porsche yet.
Yeah. Yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, what I like about that is, and I do have those same thoughts, is like, what's the worst case scenario? And often the worst case scenario isn't as horrible as, like, it might not be ideal, but it usually it's not like nobody dies, you know, like there's no urgent, like.
I really like the quote or the saying that it's like in the entrepreneur social media type accounts, where they say, what if you start a business and it fails? And then the other guy's like, then I'll go fucking work for you. Like,
yeah,
it ends up being the same, right?
Yeah.
Whether I work for you now and don't open my business, or I open my business, I fail, and I go work for you again.
Yeah.
You know? So the worst case scenario is not the end of the world. It's basically the same scenario.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And plus you have the experience of having tried, and you learn your lesson. So as long as you're learning a lesson, and you're winning. I was having a conversation with somebody, and, you know, it circled around, you know, past failures, or how things didn't work out the first time around, or maybe even the second time around. And I was like, okay, well, does that mean you stopped trying? Like, did you learn a couple things about what didn't go well the first time around? Like, it shouldn't stop you from taking another swing or doing it again. I mean, of course, if every time you're doing something like this, it's make or break, it's, you know, then it's different. But if it's just, oh, I tried it, didn't work out, and it bummed me out, well, that doesn't mean you stop trying. It means maybe you go to plan B, and then you try again another time. And yeah, it's not a big deal. So, all right. So what does it mean to you to be a father? How has becoming a father changed your life?
Oh, I think it's changed my entire life. I don't think anyone can understand that type of meaning until you do become a father. My grandfather told me, like, years ago, when we were debating if we wanted kids or not, he told me a simple phrase, something like, this is, like, having kids is what life is about. And it seems like a simple phrase, like, it's not a groundbreaking phrase, but when someone you look up to says it, then you take it very seriously and you consider it. And now that I have kids, I know, like, exactly what he was referring to.
Right.
When you have kids, your whole focus changes. It's like I was saying earlier, like, my kids are my why, and then I do everything else accordingly to them, right?
Yep.
I take care of myself. Obviously, I love taking care of myself for myself.
Yeah.
But even if I wouldn't enjoy it, I would do it for them, because I know that if I take care of myself, I'll be around for them for much longer.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll work that much harder on my finances to, you know, to make more money, to create more opportunities for us to travel, because I know when we travel, it's some of the best times, and we're creating some of the best memories. So it pushes me to do more on that side.
Yeah.
And I think it gives life, like, so much more meaning. Like, you see life through a different lens, because they kind of make you become a kid again.
Absolutely.
And I've always been somewhat of a kid. Like, I've never neglected fun in my life, but it kind of validates, or it makes it even easier for you to have fun, like, on a basic level every single day, right?
Yeah.
My son, he likes to wrestle every day. I would I never like roll around on the ground on my own, right?
Yeah.
Like, I would never do that without my son. And my daughter, you know, she likes to draw all the time. So I'll draw. I wouldn't draw on my own, right? It's just, It's very hard to explain the emotional feeling of going through those simple things when you have kids, but it's something that's super special to be able to live and experience. And I think I'm all good with like people that decide not to have kids. Like I totally understand that, because it's very challenging. It basically changes your whole life on every single angle. But I truly would say and believe that I don't think people realize what they're missing out on. Like if their focus is on experiencing really cool and fun things with their kids and like really being present with them every single day and not letting the outside static and noise, disturb them from being present with their kids every single day. I think it's a really, really cool gift to be able to be a parent and a father.
Yeah. It's an exceptional opportunity. And what I've been learning lately is that it's also a very finite opportunity. They do grow up fast. And, I often look back in the phases of my life. And I was talking to my brother just yesterday about this and how it kind of dawned on me. And I've been in a reflective mood lately. And I was like, man, I'm so comfortable in this phase of I've become comfortable in this phase of my life where like, my family and showing up for my family and being there and really ignoring everything else, all the selfish and the stuff that used to be a priority in my life, socializing and, like all those other things that the peripheral things that don't really matter that much. It's fun. It's been really fun to replace it with just the fun stuff, like playing with my kids and bringing it's kind of like bringing yourself to their level. And like you said, seeing the world through their eyes. I remember clear as day when it clicked for me when I brought my youngest to Magic Mountain and I could see it in her eyes, how magical the wave pool was.
Right.
And I was like, oh man, like that was like core memory unlocked. I was like, oh, she's living what I lived when I was there at her age.
Yeah.
And I kind of automatically tried to see everything from her eyes, and honestly, it changed my life. It changed everything. I was like, okay, what we're doing here is important. They realize like it shapes their life, and it's only a 15-year window, and then it's not gone, but like this phase is gone. Yeah. Then you can go work your ass off. Then you can go double your income. Like right now it's, yes, you want to work hard, yes, you want to provide and all that stuff. Of course I have those same motivations, but I think more than anything they need that presence. They need you there. They don't care if you have 20 or 200 grand in your bank account, or if the trip you take is $1,500 road trip or a $15,000 European trip.
Yeah.
They care about, are you there? If you're in Europe and you're on your phone working with clients, or you're on a road trip, like singing songs with them and like being with them, I think that's the whole point.
100%.
If you ask me,
In my program where I help dads, there's 1 week where we focus on the spirit of adventures, and one of the challenges is to book like medium to large trip in the next year.
Yep.
But the other challenge is to book an adventure in the next 7 days. And what I focus on is explaining how an adventure can literally be anything if you make it an adventure. Yeah. So you can make a walk and a picnic at Rotary Park a super fun and exciting adventure if you make it that. Right? Yeah. And we tend to overlook, like you said, the impact that small adventure can have on them, right? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't need to be extravagant. There doesn't need to be any monetary value to it. It's just the excitement that you bring to that adventure.
The approach.
It's really up to you, right?
Yeah, it is what you make it.
Yeah, and that small thing, that small adventure can become a core memory. And it all comes back to like all they need and want from you is just your authentic presence, right? Your disconnected presence, no phone, you're not thinking about the outside world. You're just focusing on them. You're answering their 1 million questions, and you're just, making every minute fun.
Yeah.
That's all 100%. They want.
Yeah. That's all they want. That's all they need. Other than the basics.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us maybe a little bit about the highs and the lows of parenthood? There are high highs, there are low lows. Can you talk to us about, maybe a few key moments and how you've handled them?
Yeah, sure. For me, my first thought that comes to mind is my wife is a nurse. She's a shift worker.
Yes.
So since the kids were 18 months, she went back to work full-time as a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it was the biggest challenge, is basically adapting my life to being the responsible adult or the responsible parent when my wife goes to work. So that means nights, weekends. And selfishly, at first, I found it very hard because I was missing out on things that I really, really like to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a very active person. I like to bike. I like to snowboard. I like to go on adventures, trips, ice climb, whatever. And they're all things that take quite a bit of time, mm-hmm. and that I can't bring my kids with me, right? And so it's definitely been like the biggest strain on the relationship is me going through that challenge of like trying to figure out how I can adapt to accepting that this is the fact of this time frame in my life.
Reality.
It's the reality.
She's committed. She's a committed nurse.
She's a nurse. She likes to be a nurse.
Yeah.
She is not ready to go from shift work to Monday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I realized that I needed to accept that, it's very important that she's happy doing that.
Yeah.
And if she'd be working Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, and she'd be unhappy, then it would cause another different problem, right?
True. Yeah, very true.
So that was one big realization for me is I just had to accept that this was the phase in my life that I was in. I always tell people you can do anything you want when you have kids. You just can't do everything you want.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell myself that often because I'm so excited to do everything that I get carried away with all my aspirations of doing things on weekends. And I need to go on adventures all the time. So I think I rechanneled that energy into trying to bring my kids on adventures.
Absolutely.
when I can, right? Or when I feel like going on adventures, I transfer that energy into creating an adventure for them, whether it's like a small weekday adventure or a full day or full weekend adventure, whatever the case may be. The other big shift in my head, and this sounds super simple, but relationships are not 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the time, at least.
Yeah.
Sometimes you put in 90% today and your spouse puts in 10% because that's just the way things went today.
Yeah.
And then the next day it could be vice versa. And then the next day it could be 50-50. But the important thing is there's no measuring of who did more than the other. There's just this mission that you're both working towards. And the mission is being good parents, like taking care of our kids, and then communicating well between each other and knowing what our common goals are, like in life in general, right? And I think when you're on that same path, or you have that same vision, and you're both okay with knowing that some days you're going to do more than the other, and not measuring who does more, but just measuring if the mission is being done as a whole.
Yep.
For me, that was like a huge, like, okay, just freaking get shit done. Like, it doesn't matter if it's been a week that, you've been picking up more pieces than she has, or vice versa. Like, if I'm gone or whatever, like, don't feel bad about it, because when you're there, you're doing your job. When she's there, she's doing her job.
That's right.
Or the job. and you're just working towards the same common goal.
And you're there for each other, and you're both working, towards the same goal. And I like what you were saying about like the missions and redirecting your energy and focus. Because I'm a guy. I love adventure, snowboarding. We have very similar interests, and for me too, when I ended up being a single parent, a week on, week off, or whatever the schedule may be, I kind of faced the same reality where I had the kids with me for extended periods of time. But I like the idea of making those little memories, those micro adventures. And now I'm at a point where going to the market on Saturday is fun. Like I look forward to that period of my week. And as much as at first the kids dreaded going, well, guess what? A couple months later, they're like, it's routine. And it'll be a core memory for them forever, and it's a good habit. And so it's cool to kind of shift your priorities and then make something of what you have and what's in front of you.
And I think like the example of going to the market, like that's one thing that you could overlook, right? Like maybe current parents or parents to be like wouldn't consider that as great an adventure as it actually is.
Yeah.
Like we're on totally the same page for the market. It's been a staple in our household. When we're around and we have nothing else on the calendar, we're at the market.
Yeah.
Like that's just what we do. We go to the gym on Saturday mornings. Then after the gym, we go to the market. We all get the same things every single time. We eat the same things. We sit at the same place. We often gather with other friends and family to eat food. And what seems like it seems like it's a small thing, but it actually is a staple in our week.
A small thing, but a big part of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
So how important is it to you to maintain a healthy work-life balance? Like we talked about it and we know it's a priority, but like just how important and how do you see it translating or kind of making its way into other aspects of your life? Like how are you seeing the dividends come back?
I feel like I have a bit of a unique perspective or position on this than most people, where I have like a lot of non-negotiables where like I won't let the professional side of my life take over certain aspects of like what I like to do and how I like to take care of myself and stuff. So I think that transpired in me monetizing things that I really like to do, like that I have an interest in, such as like owning my gym. Like it's a very unique type of profession or business to own, where I turned a personal interest into an actual business, which has some downsides to it, which I won't get into, but same as like my podcast and my program for dads, like it's a passion. Like I don't dread going on a call with the dads I like that I help, because I like doing that, right? So when I think about work-life balance, I think about like if I have to commit to work stuff basically based on like making a certain amount of money, then I have to make sure that it's a time investment and a commitment that I don't mind, even if I don't love. It can't take away from the good things in my life. So it can't take away from the time I spend with my kids. It can't take away from my health. It can't take away from my time freedom, meaning like I can't work an 8 to 5 Monday to Friday job. I can't. I haven't done it in 15 years and I won't start doing it now. So I think when it comes to work-life balance, I think people need to see it as like you are building the life of your dream. What you need to do for that to happen type of thing. Work-life balance can't happen if you allow someone else to decide how your life is going to be structured, right? Meaning like an 8 to 5 Monday to Friday job. If you like that, that's totally fine. That's cool. But if you're unhappy and you're craving time freedom and flexibility to do things on your own terms, then you need to start building your life on your own and on your own terms.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Build your life or someone else will build it for you. So talk to us a little bit about how sports has impacted your life. Like, what are some of the lessons and takeaways some of the sports you partake in have shaped your life, or what are the lessons you've taken away from those?
I think sports, like at an early age, is probably the greatest teacher of life lessons, I guess.
Yeah.
Teamwork and failure and victories,
Getting up again.
And listening to a coach, right?
Yeah.
Like listening to people that know more than you do. So I think those lessons definitely carry over to real life after you're done minor sports. I've always played hockey and mostly team sports. I think individual sports have like equally great lessons, different type of lessons. There's not the teamwork aspect so much, but there's more like everything depends on you, right?
Yeah.
Your victory or your failure depends entirely on the work that you put in and the efforts that you put in.
Yeah. Your belief in yourself, the confidence, all that stuff. Yeah.
So I would say, like, at a young age, sports are probably or definitely one of the greatest teachers that's going to translate into real life. And I think every kid should have the opportunity to play sports, every year, all year long, ideally.
Yeah.
I think later on in life as an adult, I think adults are too quick to let those sports go and not prioritize them, because I think what it brings later on in life is the social aspect is probably one of the most important parts.
Friendships.
Yeah, exactly. For me, CrossFit, the thing I fell in love with the most is community. And it was my first experience as an adult to gather with a like-minded community.
Yeah.
So it was a community where most people had, a lot of the same, what's the word I'm looking for?
Goals,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. As I had at that time. So they were focusing on their health, their wellness, and it was like a different atmosphere from the other atmospheres I had been put in as an adult until that point.
True.
So I think sports for adults it's really the sense of community and the social aspect of things, where it's a community or it's a place where you should be surrounded by people that bring you up, that celebrate your victories, that work hard together, that it should be like a good sense of teamwork and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. I also like how sports pull me outside of my comfort zone. They get me to do trips or adventures. Let's go for a ride. Let's do a weekend in Campbellton, all that stuff. I think it's great. And, I've always kind of thrived in solo sports, but I've also played team sports, and I agree 100% with everything that you said. It's been a big part of my life, and it continues, and it helps me feel like a kid. So it helps me, be a better father and be happier and show up better for everybody around me. So Matt, what's the best piece of advice you ever received?
Oof. Best piece of advice I ever received.
Big one.
Top of mind, what I'm thinking about right now is listen twice as much as you talk.
Yeah.
I think we live in a society where generally people, it's human nature to want to talk about yourself, right? Or talk about, your interests and what's happening in your life. But I think if someone can manage, listening 2 times more than that person talks, I think that's going to be a good kind of cheat code in life, if you will, to level up your life, learn a lot from others that know more than you. And it also opens up the door to make other people feel really special.
Yes.
And solidify that relationship with that person.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want people to remember you, and if you want to make people feel really special, then listen to what they have to say and ask them questions about them.
Yeah.
And you're going to be remembered as someone that's way smarter and way like you're going to be remembered as a memorable person, as a person that made them feel super special.
Yeah. Remarkable.
Instead of trying to sound smart by saying everything you know about that thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I really love that. It's something I've struggled with. You know me probably well enough to know that, you know, I have a tendency to talk over people, and I have a lot to say, and I have no problem expressing. But that's probably been my biggest lesson, personal lesson, and challenge so far. Challenge to myself is to really learn the lesson that you've said. So not only develop the habit of listening more, but one of my biggest lessons has been to really let it sink in that everybody has something to teach me, and I should treat them accordingly, right? So if I sit with you and we have coffee, and yeah, it's one thing to pay attention and to make you feel special, but if I really engage and say, all right, I can, like, Matt has something he can teach me. He has life experiences. Mm-hmm. He's had, you know, the guy's had twins. Like, I can learn a thing or two about dadding from Matt. But if you take the other approach where you always have the upper hand and you know everything, which is a position I've found myself in many times, you miss out on a lot of opportunities and opportunities of improving relationships and your position and from learning many things. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, my pleasure.
All right, so almost time to wrap it up. So what's next for you? What are you currently working on? What's next?
Well, right now my main focus, my main mission, what I'm really motivated to do is to help more fathers. My goal is to help them realize their full potential. I believe that most of the people out there don't even know how better they could be feeling. My main focus, or the main pillar of my program is health and fitness. Sure. However, what's really cool is I believe that once you establish that, or once you work on your health and fitness, every other aspect of your life gets better, right? So it influences every other aspect of your life. If you master your health and fitness, you'll be a better, more present father, partner. Your finances, you know, start going up. Your business, your leadership skills, everything gets better when you work on yourself and you get better and you walk with pride every day. So I'm on a mission to help thousands of dads to realize that, work on that, hopefully inspire the people around me and beyond through my podcast and through my program. And also at the same time, never forget that all those things need to be applied in my own personal life on a daily basis, and not get carried away with you know, helping others, because my main focus is always being the best that I can in my household. Lead by example. Love it. Exactly. Well, thanks a lot for being here, Matt. I appreciate it. And everybody else, you guys can check out Driven Dad podcasts and all his socials. He's has a lot of great lessons out there. So thanks, Matt. Till next time. Cheers. Thanks for having me, Mars. Cheers.